evening. Demon Phil here with the DemoNation, and we've got another hell of a show for you here tonight. We've all been looking forward to this one. We most all of us know exactly who's going to be here, so we're going to get this started here very shortly. But first, let me know you can see and hear me in the comments. I'd appreciate that. And let's get some shares out there. We need as many people in here as possible. And first in the chat, and he was here earlier tonight, was Nine Realms Comics, Michael Oden. Huzzah to you too, buddy. Appreciate you being here. And Mike Wazlowski is here. What's going on, buddy? Appreciate you being here. So yeah, we're starting to get more and more people trickling in here. Make sure we share this thing out, and we will get going here very shortly. Give us about another minute to get some shares out there. And then I've got my sponsors I'll be going through. Thank you, Mike, for letting me know you can see and hear me. Excellent. I hope everybody had a great day, was trying to be as productive as possible. And now we're going to have some fun with this. And David Fott is in here. David, appreciate you being in here too as well, buddy. All right. Yeah, we're starting to get a full house in here and then some. So we'll give this just a little bit longer. Make sure we got some shares out there because I see more and more people starting to fall into here. And then we will get going on this. Appreciate everyone coming in here this evening. Like I said, hope y'all had a great day today. It's been a day today. Wasn't quite as a Monday-ish as yesterday, but it's been up there a little bit. But we're good because now we're here tonight and everything's just great, man. So, all right, we'll make it official. Demon Phil here with the DemoNation, and I've got a hell of a show here tonight with a hell of a guest that we've all been waiting for. I don't know why it's taken this long to get him on here. That's partially my fault, I am sure as well. But I wanted to make sure, hey, why bring him out at the beginning whenever we could have it, towards the end of the year? We didn't want to blame him all for 2020. So we're going to have some fun with this tonight. And Lewis, thank you for being here, buddy. Now, let me go ahead and get started with my sponsors, since I do have some sponsors for the show. So I do have Totally Rad Comics. Totally Rad Comics is Jimmy Noble, has Totally Rad Life of Violet #4. Evil Rad and Giovanni Barunda's actually got a title on there with him as well, which is Neon the Next Victim. That is all on Kickstarter in a trilogy on there. So go check that one out if you have not yet. Make sure you go over there and back that. I believe my guest has a cover in that one as well. I think he has covers in everything, almost everything I've got on here tonight. So you'll see a pattern with this, I'm sure. We have Codex Entertainment, which is Luis Torres. We have 183 Degree Studio, which is Alfred Trujillo and Kara Nicole. We have Naughty Fairies, Wendy Steen Shaner. We also have Nine Realms Publishing, which is Michael Oden, which has Elysian Fields Pyramid Gambit on Indiegogo right now in the last 3 days. There is a challenge coin that is on the Support Our Troops tier, which has been introduced out there. You will see more about that right after the show. Oh, yeah. And we have Bonfire Press, which has got Belial 2, which is out there. Belial 2 does have one of the covers from my guest on there as well. So don't miss out on that one. And that one is doing very well and very close to being funded. We need to push that one over the top. And we have Lone Wolf Comics, which is Night Wolf trade paperback by Rob Multari. That launched yesterday and is already funded. So huzzahs to that one as well, because he's done very well. We need to make sure we start getting into the stretch goal material on that, because it's going to get very interesting very quickly with that one. So don't miss out on that one on Kickstarter. All right. Sponsors are done. Everything's set up on here. We've got more and more people trickling in. So let me say some hellos real quick, of course. There you go, baby. Before Steph gets in here, because I don't want to think I'm blowing kisses to him. And Mike, appreciate you being here again. And Trish is here as well. Thank you for being here, Trish. And wow, we got quite a few people in here. All right. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring him out here. Here is the Jersey Circler, Stef Wilson.
Hey, how you doing, folks?
What's going on, Steph? Appreciate you being on.
I'm going to turn off my iPad because otherwise I'm going to see you in delay. It's going to
Exactly.
freak me out.
It does kind of mess you up a little bit when you see that delay.
Because I'm like, I'm not there. I'm not talking. No, wait, I am talking.
Now, normally with all of my shows, I always say I'm going to give you a few moments to go ahead and say who you are, what you do, and where to find you. But I'm sorry, but anyone who's here right now and doesn't know who you are, they don't even get on social media at all. So we're going to kind of bypass that a little bit.
Yeah, I think I recognize everybody in the chat. And if they don't know me from what I post on social media, they know it from talking to me in messages. So
Exactly, exactly. So first thing that I want to kind of get into is, of course, thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you
Uh,
for having me. Oh,
hey,
wait,
no problem.
let me
With
get see there. Look, get my name in there and everything. I can't get my head. Never mind. You're good.
with this time of year and everything, the first question I like to go ahead and ask is, what are some of your favorite horror movies and shows and things like that of that nature?
Okay. The funny thing is, I'm not and never have been really nice Lewis already. Not have I'm not a horror movie person. Not to say I don't like a good suspense thriller scary movie, but like your typical horror movies like Friday the 13th, I never even saw it. I did like Halloween because I love the music and the suspense in the original Halloween movie, plus Jamie Lee Curtis. Shawnee.
Hmm.
So so I'm not a real big horror movie kind of person, but if it's got suspense and some sort of like thrill to it, then I like it. So
Hey, nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
just my thing.
Oh, hey, everybody's got their thing. That's absolutely right. And it kind of, it's like with your style. I mean, that's your style. I don't see many other people that actually mimic that in any way, form, or fashion because you've got all the circle templates.
I've cornered the market.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say cornered as
Well,
much
corner would be a
as
bad word. Yeah, that's true too.
exactly. Yes, too many right angles in that one. So, what is the origin story of how you got into doing comics? Because I know a little bit about this, but I want to make sure that the audience and everyone else will be watching this later on knows because you haven't been doing this very long.
No, no, not long at all. I mean, the drawing part, yes, all my life, but the comics part of it, not long at all. I guess my origin story would start very early on. My mother was artistic, and my mother was German, so being bored was not an option. Like as a kid, you know, you weren't allowed to get bored. So to avoid chores, you had two choices. You could, if you were bored and she found you being bored, you could either draw her a nice picture, is what she would always say, or you could clean something or do yard work and things like that. So you learn to draw a lot. And she loved having pictures drawn. So I've been drawing all my life. And then as a kid with Dungeons and Dragons, I really enjoyed drawing the characters and things like that in Dungeons and Dragons. And then I got to be a teenager, uh, got a little bit older, went to college, abandoned art and Dungeons and Dragons for girls. So went for girls in a degree, and really didn't do anything with it. Got to the job world, moved my way through a professional career, through business, and then into human resources. I was a human resource professional. I was an engagement consultant. So I was in corporate America doing the business thing, and on the side, I had this big pile of Dungeons and Dragons stuff, and I went to sell it all on eBay. And when I was done selling it, and there was a ton of it, and I got addicted to making the money off of selling this stuff on eBay. And Kerry said, "Why don't you sell your drawings?" And I'm like, "I haven't drawn in years, whatever." So I drew something, excuse me, put it up on eBay for $20. Whoever that guy is lucky. Um, and it sold. And so then I drew another picture and it sold. And I drew another picture and it sold. So the entire time that I was pursuing my career, on the side, when I would relax or have some time off, I would just draw fan art basically and sell it on eBay, just sell sketches on eBay. And it turned into a second business. And then at some point, Carrie said, either do it or don't. Like really get into. I mean, the money I was making in my professional life was a lot more, but I was making substantial. I mean, I went beyond because like eBay will let you do a hobby up to $20,000, $19,000. I was going way over that, so I was having to pay taxes and everything on it. And so she just told me to jump in and do it. And then I started doing the fan art on a website. I set up my website, and then I went onto Facebook and started really promoting my work. Actually, I went onto Instagram,
Hmm.
and then Instagram banned me for some reason. Oh, because my website name. They thought my website name, Bad Carry Studios.
Right.
They thought Bad Carry was basically porn, so they blocked me. So I went onto Facebook, and it was while I was on Facebook, I was like, oh, there's a little more interaction on Facebook. I like Facebook for that. And then Ron Zabala reached out to me messaged me one day, and it was just a message in my inbox, and it said, how much do you charge for a cover?" And like an idiot, I messaged him back without even realizing who he was and said, I don't do sketch covers right now. I'm not set to do sketch covers right now. And he messaged me back, thank God, and says, no, I'm in a real cover. And I was like, ah. So he was really nice in talking me through the process of doing my first cover. And then all of a sudden I was like, holy crap, I'm in comics after that. So
And in doing so, of course, you've done quite a few covers. Do you have any idea right now what the count is for this year on how many covers?
here's the annoying thing. I was good right up to 76 in my book, which was like a week ago, I think, or 2 weeks ago. And I can't find the stupid notebook. And I need to update it because a couple more have come out. And I'm like searching, because we're packing the house. So I'm like searching for this notebook, which is literally the most important thing in the business right now because it lists every cover we've ever had, plus all the comps that we're still owed and everything else like that. So it's like this critical notebook. I know it didn't disappear. It's just one of those things. It went somewhere and I have no idea where it is right now, kind of thing. But I would say conservatively, I'm at about 80. My goal was to hit 100 by the end of the year, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to do it realistically. But that's because I'm negative. I'm always negative about things like that. So,
And you can see where, I mean, hundreds should be no problem whatsoever because you're popping out so many. I mean, there's so many campaigns that are out there, and you look and there's a Stef Wilson, there's a Stef Wilson, there's a Stef Wilson. And
no,
where there's not, there's people contacting you saying, I don't have enough room on this one, but you'll be on the next one.
right, right, exactly. No, I mean, and could I hit 100 covers by the end of this year? It's likely, but I'm. Carrie always says I'm negative. I'm my whole career in business has been about fail points and identifying friction and things like that for organizations. So when you say I can hit 100 covers at the end of the year, I can point out to you inside of 2 seconds about 25 different fail points to that because that's my business side. And could I hit 100? Yeah, it's probably going to happen. But I don't go in that with that mindset. Yeah, I can do this because I'm always looking for the obstacles and how to clear the obstacles. Yeah, I should have given it to Carrie for safekeeping.
Exactly. Exactly. And
It's like
Tracy
this
says,
notebook with all these scratch marks and writing, and there's like a page where somebody used it for something else, but there's important information on it. It's like the worst design system in the world, but at least it was all in one place. So
yep. And Trish is saying, check your suitcase, see if that's the last place where you put it or anything.
I haven't put any of my artwork stuff away. Like some of my studio stuff has gotten packed, but I haven't put anything that I'm working on, like, or that I might need. So that's the weird thing. Is like I'm like, why would one thing have disappeared?
And Lewis, it's like Fight Club. We don't mention that name, and the second rule is we don't mention that name. So yeah, no, we're not doing that. And Angela, thank you for being here. Angela is actually
Hi, Angela.
my ex work wife from Exxon whenever I worked in Texas. So
Okay.
she was watching this for the first time. So welcome to the train wreck. I mean the show.
Yeah.
So you've done a lot of covers. You've done a lot of work within the industry and everything. The next thing I want to ask is going to kind of take you down a different route here. Is you've done a lot of charity work actually.
Yes.
And I really
Here and
want to
there.
bring that up because you've done a lot, which is very commemorable because you've done so much. And it's like whenever you see a charity piece that's out there or whatever, something you've got something going on with it, or you've had your own as well. What makes you what makes you do as much as you do for the charity work, and how do you go about getting you to do some charity work in case anybody's interested?
Okay. The thing with charity work is like it's my time and it's Carrie's time. That's what it boils down to. It's not costing me anything to produce a work for somebody. It's just costing me time. So, it's no sleep in comics and, sleep is for winners. Those are my hashtags. If I have to give up a little bit of sleep to do something for a good cause, it's not killing me. You know what I mean? Like that's the thing. Like the Fisher cover we did for Jim, or the one we did for with Vince Hernandez for Syria, and all that money went to healthcare workers. Like as long as I can squeeze it in and work it into a schedule, then I'll do it. I mean, it's if it's for a good cause, like I'm not, nobody's asking me for $200. They're asking me to do work for them, which is equal to whatever, but it's just about time. So And you have to do these things. You have
Yes.
to do these things because these are organizations that need it. You know what I mean? And for me to just put in a little bit of time for Fisher House, or a little bit of time for these healthcare workers, or whatever it is I do. I have done work for free for creators, publishers, stuff like that, because I appreciate their support. So I give them a little bit of my time as an appreciation of my support, and my work and the time that I put in. My work is, is worth something to them. So it's just a little bit of my time.
And it's definitely worth it. And like I said, it's very, it's
Don't mind
above
me.
and
My
beyond
printer's
what
going
you
off for some reason. I don't know
it's
why.
it's above and beyond what you would normally do, and that's something that you don't see from a lot of other people that are out there. And again, you're so busy with everything else that you're working on and all, and everybody's kind of like, okay, how are you doing the work that you're already doing? And then all of a sudden you're popping out charity pieces as well. That speaks volumes about the kind of person that you are. So I definitely wanted to go ahead and bring that up
I
because we do
appreciate it.
that.
But you know what? That's the group I'm with. Jeez, you guys. I'm with you guys. And so Lewis and Wendy and Jim, every one of you guys is giving of yourselves big time. So if I'm in that group, that's the reason I'm in your group. You know what I mean? That's why I hang out with you guys. That's why I hang out with the fans that we hang out with, because you're all amazing people. So if I can give a little bit of my time to help you guys out, that's awesome. Because you would do it too.
I do. I mean, I try to do as much as I
Mhm.
possibly can. I mean, I can't help absolutely everybody, but it doesn't cost anything to use the power of the finger and hit that share button. I mean, I do that as much as I possibly can.
Or to promote people's work.
Exactly, exactly. But now, how big? This is kind of a double-edged sword question here. How big is of a meaning is it to you to be on your social media presence?
What do you mean?
Meaning because not just the pandemic, but
Hmm.
pandemic gone. Let's
Right.
say if it hadn't have happened or whatever, how
Right.
big of
Right.
an importance is it to go ahead and
Oh
have
my
your social
God.
media presence and go ahead and keep that going?
I've had the conversation and messages with a ton of artists, a bunch of artists, um, about social media. Social media is a full time job. So I feel for the artists that have a job and do the art, because that's the time that I probably can cut out to donate to social media. Like, I couldn't spend this amount of time on social media when I was still in my professional career, because it's literally all day long. But the time you spend in social media is, in other words, you can sit and draw all you want in your living room, but nobody's going to find you. We used to joke, a friend of mine who was always having trouble dating. I'm like, well, nobody's coming to your living room to ask you out. Like, if you don't get up off your couch, you're never going to find anybody. So it's the same thing. You can draw all you want in your studio, but if your work isn't out there selling you constantly, 24 hours a day, then you're not going to be able to drive your art. And so for social media, for me, it's a huge thing. But this is the funny thing. This is the funny thing about me and social media, because when somebody asks me about it in messages, they get these massive, long responses, which they probably didn't want, because they're looking
Mhm.
for a quicker answer usually. But the thing is, Carrie always says it, like, if I'm going to do something, unfortunately, I have this little bit of OCD about me. If I'm going to do anything, I am going to do it 150%. Like, I am going to do the research, the data, and everything else, so that I know what I'm doing. And so with social media, I got on like everybody else. I kidded around. I had a little bit of fun. Oh, wait, I can make money off of this. Boom. Now I'm watching the YouTube videos. Now I'm studying the algorithms and how they work. Now I know the tiers and the levels and the spreads and how to affect them with hashtags and that. Like, I have to dig into all of that. That's my business thing again. Like, that whole obsession with business. And so, yeah, I like, literally, like Shawnee said, no sleeping comics. I literally will be messaging people and doing business at 1 o'clock at night. Before I go to bed, I'm in social media again. And then it's 1:30 before I'm going to bed or whatever, because you have to be in there all the time. And for all that time, for the simplest explanation is social media, Instagram, Twitter, I'm not really getting the hang of. I'm not sure I really want to invest the time in it. But just say Instagram and Facebook for an artist are critical. And Instagram and Facebook are two very different platforms that have very different operating systems, but both of them are designed for two things: engaged users and engaged content.
Mhm.
So if you're on social media, 10 times a day, or if you're on social media once a day, you have a very different response in your feed. And the other thing is engaged content. If you're just going to go up there and slap a picture up there every day that you did, nothing's going to happen.
Right.
You have to interact with other people because it is a social media, and they reward interactive content and they reward engaged users. So there's a whole science behind it that's a lot more complicated than I just went through, but you either put the time into social media or you die on it, basically.
Exactly. And Dan, appreciate you being here. The snow blowing the
Oh
driveway.
my God, 9
Wow.
inches? Holy crap. You're in Canada, Dan. I got news for you. You're in Canada. Minnesota, and if Sarah's here, Wisconsin, it's Canada. North Dakota's Canada.
And my gal is saying, well, that's a hell of a T-shirt there. So we've got a wardrobe malfunction because we actually wore the same thing.
Not a malfunction. Supporting the show.
In case you can't tell, this
Available
is
on the
Stef
Etsy
Wilson
shop.
art. That's Stef Wilson art right there.
Available at the Etsy shop.
Absolutely
Now,
is.
go.
And actually,
In black, fashionable. Fashionably in black. Everybody loves black tees.
exactly. And there's a link right there, and it is embedded in all of the feeds as well. So if
It's
you
really
go look
cute
at the
tee,
feeds, it's
too.
already there.
It's a really cute little devil, too. So, anyway, sorry. Had a lot of fun with that logo. Here's the story about that logo.
Yes.
Wait, let me get the shirt up where people can see it. Okay, so we've got her with the microphone, obviously, because she's doing a live stream, and that's the on air. And then the letters on DemoNation are all slanted in a direction, so because that's the direction that Phil's moving forward. And the flames are the speed of which his name brand is growing. And then her knee is kicking the end down to show you that DemoNation split, so that you can see it's two words. Sorry. Too much art explanation, probably.
Oh, no. Whenever you sent that to me, I mean, I was almost in tears because it was like, this is not just art. It actually has meaning to it as well, which was amazing.
I spent a lot of time in advertising, even Wendy's Naughty Fairies logo that I did for her. If you look, the shape of her wings is in a heart. She's cascading magic from her fingers like Wendy does with her Kickstarters. Like, there's thought put into it. Even the font. That font on Wendy's your font is original because I hand drew that. But the font on Wendy's logo, I actually designed that font. So, myself for her logo. So, and she was like, oh, and I'm like, well, if you're a brand, you should have your own font for your brand. It's like Nike. Nike comes in one letter shape, So that comes from my advertising background. I just think if you're going to get a logo, it should be completely unique.
And it is. I mean, it's amazing. I love this thing, and I love wearing it out in public because people kind of look around and they're like, what is that?
Mm-hmm. It's a question. It's something to make people wonder.
Exactly. So if you want to be a part of the DemoNation, you need to get the shirt. And I'm telling you right now, too, these shirts are amazingly comfortable.
They are. Yeah, they're really good shirts. Her Naughty Fairy shirts were the same quality. They're really soft. This one was washed, didn't shrink at all. Like, it's really good T-shirts.
And Chris is reiterating what you said, and yes, including my glasses being on her as well.
Of course. We had to give you the Phil touch. Because it had to be a sexy chick, because I'm not drawing you on there.
Oh,
so,
no.
And nothing against you, but it's just sales. You put a chick on there, you're going to sell more. It's the end result.
And Dan, no, there was no Demon Phil autograph on the shirt.
You could have put your signature on there with Photoshop or something.
I'm sure I could figure something out, but Dan does have my only Demon Phil's autograph is out there right now, so he's got the only one.
Really? Yeah, but he's snowed in Minnesota, so really, it's it's hit or miss. Dan. Just kidding, Dan.
So that kind of leads into my next thing that I want to go into is your fan base. Because, I know that raises the eyebrows. So you have a fan base on both Facebook and Instagram.
Uh-huh.
Instagram, of course, is a very fast-paced, huge fan base that you have over there right now. In fact, you're over
That's crazy. Here's the crazy thing. I'm at 12,400. the crazy thing about Instagram is I'm in a shadow ban right now, and I'm still picking up 100 a week, because you lose a certain amount from it. Oh, here we go again. The guy's talking social media. He can go on for hours. You can lose, literally, when you get up into the big numbers, you could lose about 20 or 30 people a day just from basic attrition. People unfollowing after a while or whatever. Um, so when you get shadow banned, you tend to hold even or maybe even lose some followers. But the pace has been so frenetic that I'm actually gaining followers just at a slower pace. So you give me like another 2 weeks when the shadow ban ends, and boom, it'll explode. But Instagram and Facebook are so very different. People
Yes.
aren't as interactive on Instagram, but it's not Facebook. It doesn't feel like Facebook. It's more of a sharing medium than a social medium. So my fan base, while they follow me on Instagram because that's where I put the naughty bits, um, they're almost exclusively my interactive fans are on Facebook. I have like about 5 people that I interact with as socially on Instagram that I do on Facebook. Facebook, I have, a lot of people that I talk to regularly in messages.
And with your fan base and on Facebook and everything, if anybody knows dealing with Steph, he can get on there and he can be very commenty. We'll put that as a word on there, shall we use?
I'm never on there. You know,
Even
the
well,
funny thing about Facebook is I use Facebook. If you're an artist and you have a personal profile, forget it. When do you have time to take care of your personal profile? Delete it. Yes, I love chatting on Facebook. Exactly, Trish. So when I got onto Facebook, my personal profile disappeared. I wiped it out, and I went on as an artist, and that is my only profile. So here's the fun thing about Facebook, which I discovered: as much as I spend a lot of time on there, and artists are like, "Oh God, it's so much work." No, it's not. That's my actual personal profile on Facebook. That is my fun time. So if I go on there and you're being snarky or Joshua's being snarky or somebody posts a gift, I enjoy that. That's the fun part of Facebook. So I'm having the Facebook kind of fun as an artist. So to me, like Carrie's always trying to slap the phone out of my hand and get me off the phone. I enjoy interacting with people on Facebook so much. My art is just part of it. It's just part of doing it, and it's an excuse to do it and to connect with people that I've never been able to connect with before. I can have Haley down in Australia drunk messaging me at 4 a.m. in the morning because that's what she just feels like she can do. I would have never met Haley in a million years, so it's really cool.
and you have a very it's a very large fan base that you have. A lot of people, a lot of different ways that you communicate and interact with people, such as Russell Allen. I mean, I'll go ahead and use the name
Mhm.
out loud, and I'm probably going to regret that
Don't
later
say
on.
that. You're going to summon him. Go ahead.
But he's one of them that you have a lot of fun with and go
Mhm.
back and forth with the bantering. And then now it's become where it was like one or two people, and it's become like a group of people. And I love the meme that you use for that, where it's like the mafia, walking into
The
somewhere.
Peaky Blinders. Yep.
Exactly,
They're a gang.
exactly. Because
We're a gang.
I
We're a
get
gang.
included.
We're
I
just
know I get included in there sometimes too, and we get in there and
you
start.
are in there whether you want to be included or not. We're a gang. It's funny when I was in business, and I ran some different field operations. One or two of them were called a cult, or were called one of them we called the Green Mile, from the book. So our gang is very tight. We
Mhm.
look out for each other. If you're not on social media for 2 days, you're going to get a message because somebody's going to be worried about you. Like, so we may be the Peaky Blinders, we may be a rough crowd, but as far as to each other, we're like gold to each other. I mean, we really take care of each other, and that's exactly what I've always wanted with Facebook. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? Like with Facebook, when I first went on, I connected with high school people that I didn't really like in high school anyway. But these are all like-minded people who care about each other, who care about comics, care about each other, and it's amazing. It's like the best social interaction ever, and it just so happens to be coinciding with my business. That's like awesome.
And
But yeah, we're a rough crowd.
here's one of there's a lot of talk about he who shall not be named out there, but this one right here.
She's largely. I can't do the backwards thing. God, it drives me nuts. She's one largely responsible for this group.
Yes, exactly. Very. She actually
Heart of gold, but a troublemaker.
she put "He who shall not be named" in charge of
Hmm.
security. I mean, come on.
I know exactly. And like Joshua, who's now banned again. You know, like these kind of people, I hope they're having fun because I am. You know what I mean? Like that's the
Comments
thing.
like that.
Nice, exactly. Um, exactly. That's exactly my fan base. Here's the thing: I have fans, people who like my art and buy my art. I probably have about 12. All the rest of my fans immediately evolve into friends that trash me at the drop of a hat. Like I'm not like this famous artist that like, oh my god, I got to request a commission from him. And of course, you know, my commissions take like a week, so it's not like this guy is gonna make me wait 3 months for a commission. People go right from, oh my god, I'm chatting with an artist, to making fun of me on like live streams and stuff like that. So all my fans, like 95% of them, are just friends now. I mean, we chat in messages when they're not feeling well, things like that. Because so I fan base is more of a friend base for me. I just have a really good friend group.
Exactly. And like David Fott says right here, this is the best damn group ever. If you
It
guys
sure is.
help my
Exactly, David. And you're in it, David. I got news for these people. You're not on the outside. You're in it. So if you know who any of these people are that we're talking about, I got news for you. You're in it. Mike and Trish are late to the party.
yeah,
We've only seen them pop up what, like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
like that. Yeah.
They are so part of the group
Oh,
already.
they are. Oh, yes, they are.
Oh, they are in. You know, like in 5 seconds, literally 2 days after I meet Trish in comments somewhere, she's telling me I got to draw boobs on Godzilla in Messenger. Like,
Exactly.
are you doing that to like Jesse Witchman? No. It's just we have a different kind of feel to our group where nobody's better than anybody else. Nobody's different than anybody else. We're just all the same kind of group, goofy group.
And this is from Joshua. We're all a gang. Some of us just get into a bit more trouble. Some of us a lot more, not trouble, not just a bit, but a lot more.
I'm telling you, I really love that Peaky Blinders gift because I really think it represents it. Because the Peaky Blinders were so tight with each other and they were so looking out for each other. And they could be rough if they needed to be, like that guy who was picking on, who was sending pictures to Penny that one time. Everybody turned on that son of a bitch. Like they're very protective of each other, our group. You know what I mean? And it's
Oh,
a good
yeah.
thing because they look out for each other, which is really cool.
Now, Angry Artist is in the house. William Russell, thank you for being here. And I'm going to tell you right now, you are not an outsider either because
No,
you
he
deal
likes
a
to
lot with helping out people too.
You're in as much as you want to be in,
Yep.
William. In other words, you want to be in, interact, you'll be in.
Yep.
It's all what it's about. Uh, like Phil, if you post something about a show, it's got nothing to do with me, nothing to do with my projects, nothing to do whatever. Guess what? I'm sharing it. It doesn't do me any good. It's about sharing what you're working on. Like people always like I've had people like chat with me about that. Like, oh, you shared Bill McKay's website. Well, why wouldn't I share Bill McKay's website? He's a friend of mine. Like and so when you're doing that kind of stuff, that's how you're in. People see you sharing other people's stuff, interacting with other people's stuff, and they go, "Oh wow, that's kind of cool." That's how you get in. It
Exactly.
can't be about you. It's not about me. It's about our group. You know.
Exactly. And I'm going to go ahead and give a quick shout out to William Russell since he's in here right now because last night's show that I had, uh, you actually said in the audience, William, whenever you were talking about, as long as you know about the Kickstarters and everything that are going on, you try to go ahead and physically back or financially back or whatever as many as you possibly can, and you share out the others. The fact that you actually put that in the comments, I gained a lot more respect for you even then than I already had in the first place because you actually put it out there in the open. More people will see that as well and start going, hey, wait a minute, I could do the same thing. It's not always about financial, but you can use the
No,
power of a finger and hit that share button. It costs you nothing whatsoever.
we all have limited finances. Let's face it. And
Mhm.
I always feel bad for the people that are like following my covers and trying to get all my covers. And I've got a few who do that. And they got to be sitting there at some point going, "Crap, he's got another cover," And then Jim Noble drops a Kickstarter. What do you mean 7 covers? Like they're like, how the hell am I supposed to keep up? So the whole thing with that is you can't always financially afford it. I get it. I totally get it. And you know what? The thing with the share is a lot of people, this is their personal profile, and grandma's on there, so they
Mm-hmm.
don't want to share the latest boob cover from Stef Wilson. That's fine. I get it. But you know what? You could share eBass's website over to another group, and that's not on your personal feed. You just see it in your feed. If you share it to a group, say like an art group, a pinup group, or something like that, your grandma's never going to see it. So if I get that people don't share things sometimes because it'll show up on their feed that they're sharing it to their profile. So don't share it to your profile. Share it somewhere else. Share it to Phil's group. Go join DemoNation and
Yes.
slap whatever the hell you want up on his page. He don't care. He
Nope.
barely pays attention to that page anyway.
Oh, I pay a lot of attention actually. Now, Trish says that's true. I can watch you draw or share a video of your cat. Neither way, I care. So,
My cat is the most popular person on Facebook. It's not even about me and Carrie anymore. First, it was about me. Then it was about Carrie. Now it's about the cat. Cat comes on the show. Boom. Conversation's
exactly.
over. Until the
And
cat leaves, that's all they want to see is the cat.
that's what I want to bring up now is about your Thursday show because it started out, it was, you drawing whatever, and you were kind of throwing some stuff out there. I remember watching your first show and how nervous you were about it, and you were like, I don't even know what to do.
I have
I don't
no
even know
idea.
what to start out with. And now it's to the point where I'm going to go ahead and say it because my girlfriend Chris told me about this. She said you're almost like the Bob Ross scenario going on now. Instead
Because
of
you
happy
can
little
draw.
streets, it's happy little circles, but same thing. Uh,
The weird thing is, I thought I saw everybody's shows before, and I got onto Artist Alley before there were a lot of artists on there. In other words, Jesse was on there, Nai was on there. Um, Yep,
yep,
that's how we meet each other through
yep,
this, through bumping into each other in comments and things like that. So, yeah. So when I first went on Artist Alley, I was probably only about the fifth artist they had, and I had been watching all those shows, and they're all different, and you can see they all show the personality of the artist. Oh yeah, dude, we're family. Long ago, Dan.
oh yeah,
Same thing, Dan. I don't remember Dan a month ago. In Doghouse or anything like that. But all of a sudden, Dan's there. Like you almost wonder where Dan is when Dan isn't there now.
right,
You know,
right.
and Shawnee. If Shawnee's not on the David Harrigan show, I'm going to Messenger to see where the hell she is because she's there every Friday. But anyway, so when I got on Artist Alley, I had seen all the other artist shows, and the weird thing is the show takes on the artist's personality whether they want it to or not. Like they might try to do their show a certain way, but David Harrigan's show is definitely David Harrigan, you know? And Nai's show is so much Nai. And so the same thing, when we went on, my first thing was, oh, I got to draw for people on the show, which was kind of weird. And then, yeah, Carrie made me do it. Tom was asking me to do it, and Carrie was like, "You have to do it," and I'm like, "I don't want to do it." And Carrie's like, "You have to do it." And I'm like, "I don't want to do it." But now it's fun because now I get to hang out with all my friends on the live show, and they get to chat with me. But yeah, the drawing segment at the end was for the first show, the very first show we did it, and I was just like I know I could draw for the entire length of the show, but I got to do something fun. And then it occurred to me because of something I had seen in a post, because every single person in the world technically can draw. You just don't know you can, and you haven't done it yet.
Mhm.
And so I was like, what if we did a little fun? I said to Carrie, what if we just do a little fun segment at the end where I show them how to draw something? I think it was a snake, like a basic, just a snake, cute
Mhm.
snake. And that has turned into its own segment. And the best part of it is, like little Chloe, who Penny shares the pictures of her staring at the iPad intently, like it's art class. And I'm like, holy crap. I'm working with a little girl out in San Diego, I think they're in, who's learning how to draw, likes drawing, and has to, literally last week, wouldn't, told her friends she had to go inside so that she could go and draw with me. So some little girl out in San Diego has to come inside. She tells her friends to get lost so she can come in and draw with me. Like that is a huge responsibility to take seriously. That people, I've had adults, the same thing. I haven't drawn in years, and I drew on your show, and then they send me a picture. I'm like, send me a picture. And that's the best part of it too, is people send me their pictures. They send me pictures of pets, what they're doing. I know what Scott did one day 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Like, that's the part I like.
Hmm.
The art is there, but what I like is the interaction.
And see, one thing, because we've been talking about, the friends versus family, scenario, because it's actually a family instead of friends.
Yeah,
And
kind of like a mafia family.
oh yeah, exactly.
It's
Uh,
definitely Sopranos.
Whenever you're watching the show, you get a huge level of respect within the fan base and everything because of the last part where it's the you can draw. Like 10 minutes before it gets to that point, everybody starts going, okay, no more talk about this, no more talk about that, and no more adult talk, no more cursing.
Yep, everybody
Slowly find a
stops.
way. Everybody shut it down, and everybody does too. There's nobody that fights anything on it, and
Yep,
it automatically switches from the
talking
step
about
show that it
boobs.
was, yeah, and it switches to a family show at that point,
Now,
which
the
is
funny
amazing.
thing, Carrie noticed the funny thing about it too is, well, first of all, yeah, everybody immediately stops with the naughty banter, which is, we're adults and we're allowed to do that. But when kid time is, and it's funny because a couple times Penny has told me that Chloe has tuned in and go, they're still doing adult stuff to her mom. So when we start the kids up, but Carrie noticed the other day that my voice changes a little bit when we go into You Can Draw, that I have a different personality a bit when we go into You Can Draw. She's like, you're like, you got like a teacher vibe going on. She said, I'm not sure. And it just
Exactly.
comes out because I didn't know how to do all these things. And I'm trying to explain how easy it is to do these things. Like an oval is just a bad circle. Like, that's the easiest way to explain a circle.
Mhm.
And everybody says they can't draw. Well, yeah, you can't draw a circle, but you can definitely draw an oval because everybody can screw up a circle. And so when I have those little conversations, I guess I take on a different element because at that point, I want people to enjoy doing art as
Mhm.
opposed to buying art or seeing art done. I want them to just pick up a pencil and doodle, and have fun with it.
Now, of course, you've got your artwork, your the Jersey Circler, you've got your show going on, you've done the charity work and everything. So the next thing I want to bring up is behind every good man is a great woman.
Oh, yeah.
So you've got Carrie Ann there, and I know that we've got the running joke about whatever you do, it's always fixed, with the coloring and everything.
Uh huh.
But she does a lot more than just the coloring. She's actually been pushing you in this direction and helping you out and getting you to that point, and been
Yep.
very supportive. And she's been pushing you to this level of where you're going. It's it's amazing to see someone who is actually that supportive, especially
Oh,
whenever
yeah.
you go ahead and throw everything to the side and say, "I'm going to go ahead and take a chance on this."
Yep. She
So
did. She took a chance on this as a career. When I
exactly.
wouldn't, I'm not a dreamer. Carrie Ann is amazing. I'm not a dreamer. I saw Kara Nicole say something about it. There are settlers and there's dreamers, and they seem to get together or whatever. I'm definitely a settler. Pick me up, put me down someplace. I'm going to start figuring out the logistics of settling into wherever I'm at and making it operate. That's me. I'm a logistics person. It's what I was in business. As much as I was in human resources, I was into the science of engagement and engaged personnel and how they affect productivity. Carrie's a dreamer. Carrie sees something beyond the horizon and imagines it happening, and then she gives me a nudge towards it. Like, I wouldn't do it if it weren't for her. We went to Paris because of her. We went to London because of her. Every adventure in my life is because she wanted to go on an adventure, and I was along to try and figure out how we could make it happen, kind of thing. So it's the same thing when she said do this. I'm like, yeah, I would never have done it in a million years, but she insisted I do it, and then I applied myself the way I always do, 150%. I'm going to make this work. Like, if I'm going to do something, I'm going to succeed at it. And if it wasn't for her dreaming of it happening, it would have never happened. It would have absolutely never happened. So it's kind of cool, because that's how our whole life has been together. So it was no different on this. It's no different with us moving to Cape Cod. It's the same thing. She picks up on a dream, and I just follow along and make sure it happens. And the cool thing is, the best part about it is I get to work with her because, yeah, and a cat showing off its butt. Always with the butt. I don't know. Cat is big on butt shots. But the cool thing is, I started doing this. I started drawing lines. Gave him the Ron. Gave him to Brian Silverbacks. I started doing cover art, and I had a couple of them colored by different colorists who did great jobs. And then I think we had a cover where we weren't really happy when the color came back. Not that it was bad, it just wasn't the way I envisioned it. And
Mm-hmm.
she saw how miserable I was, and instantly Dreamer kicked in. She bought an iPad. She literally taught herself how to color my work the way I would want my work colored because she saw it. Again, that's the dreamer in her. She just goes, "Yeah, I can do that." Boom, buys the device, self teaches herself, and inside of a month, she colored my first cover for Jim, the Violet cover. And I look back, I can see how great she's gotten since then.
Mm-hmm.
But the first cover she ever colored was still better than the ones I was getting back because she understands my style. So if that makes sense, there were more professional colorists coloring my work, but they didn't get what I was doing. She
Right.
knew what I was doing, so she has an intuition on how to color it and just nails it to the wall. And she was that first cover is still, I can still sell that cover and people still want that cover because it is so good. The first
Exactly.
cover she ever did.
And Carrie, I know we're making you blush, and I want to say I apologize on this. However, you don't get enough credit on this, and so
Oh
I want
no.
to go ahead and take a moment to go ahead and make sure that you are acknowledged in all of this as well, because with each of these stuff covers that are out there that you've done the coloring work on there, that you've helped out with, that you've given that supportive hand to him, that's what I want to go ahead and say thank you to, because without that, we
Mhm.
wouldn't have where we are right now.
And look at the covers that are most popular with my friends. Let's just call them friends. They're not even fans anymore. They
Mm-hmm.
freaking text me in the middle of the night and crap like that. Messenger dinging. I'll literally get into bed. It's 2 a.m. and I can hear downstairs my phone going ding, ding. No, the amazing thing about Gary is the most popular covers that we have, like Belial, right? There she
Thank
is.
you.
The most popular covers we have, Belial. Everybody loves that one. Everybody loves the Changeling cover. You look at the most popular colors, the covers, the ones that our friends go nuts over, they're all colored by Carrie Ann.
Mm-hmm.
That's the amazing thing. And what's really cool about it is, and I try to do this, and again, Phil, this is like the sharing thing you talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And like when I share other artists' websites or when they have a sale or something going on or their shows, colorists do a ton of work.
Mm-hmm.
What I do seems, because I do it so much, what I do seems easy compared to what Carrie Ann does or what Sanju does. Right from the beginning, when somebody would color my cover, when I shared that cover, I would say the cover I did with Sanju, the cover I did with Carrie Ann. I try not to say colors
Mm-hmm.
because they are an artist as much as I am. And so it really kind of, like I always see this, it'll be like, so and so did the cover and colors by. No, not colors by. The
Right.
work would be useless without those colors.
Right.
And it's not that I'm like trying to be fake humble or something. I watch her work and I see her work and I know how much color brings something to life, and it's a totally different art. It's one I couldn't do. And so it just always amazes me. And I always try to make sure I say I did this cover with so and so because it's a collaboration. And
Exactly.
this whole comics business is a collaboration. The
Oh, absolutely.
publishers, the creators, the fans, we're all collaborating constantly, and we should give each other credit for that.
Exactly. Now, going back to the fact that, being a family and everything, I want to bring this up because I saw this go by earlier. Trish said, whenever you said this is a family, I had my profile pic as a clown and it scared someone. I know
I
you.
remember that. Who was
I,
scared? Was it Christina?
it was my girlfriend, Chris. Yes, deathly afraid of clowns. And whenever I saw that Trish changed it,
Trish
I was
couldn't figure it out in the comments. She had no idea what you guys were talking about at
right.
first. She was like, huh? What? And you see?
And I let Chris know that Trish had changed it. And I was like, I think she changed it because of the comments and everything. And she was like, no, she wouldn't do that. So that's
Yes, she would. That's
possible that
Trish.
you would, and that's amazing that you did because that shows the respect that's within the family
Uh-huh.
again,
Exactly.
and that's a big thing with that.
Right. As
And
much as I'm tempted to throw poking hamster gifs onto Joshua's profile and get him banned every 5 seconds, I wouldn't do that to him. I want to, but I won't.
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
And
yeah. Joshua pointed that out. Joshua has a very unique piece. He has the original art from the Siren S cover, which has him on the cover.
right,
And he asked for it to be colored by Carrie Ann in pencil. And what was hysterical was she sat at the table where I color. She had the pencils in front of her. I sharpened them for her, so I made it easy on her. I sharpened all her pencils for her. But what was hysterical was she was coloring with pencil, and she was nervous about it. She was nervous about it. I'm like, you can erase it if it doesn't come out right. But she was so cute because she was nervous. But the funniest thing was I'm looking over at her, and she's doing this to the page. She's trying to spread the page to make it larger because that's an iPad thing. Like when she's doing the coloring on the device, when she's doing the digital coloring, you can spread the screen to make it larger. It was the most hysterical thing in the world because you couldn't make her not do it. Like she would stop doing it when I joked her about it, but then 2 minutes later she'd be going like this again. Like you can't. It's paper. It's not going to spread. So it was absolutely hysterical. Anyway, Joshua got that. He has the only original art piece done by both me and her. She hasn't done any other original art. So
Nice, very nice.
yeah, that's an exclusive.
Well, I'm sure he's a little proud of that one then.
Oh yeah, yeah. And you know what? But Joshua was very good with that kind of stuff. In other words, like he came up with that idea. He's also the only person to ask me to draw a 2020 pandemic picture. Like that's going to be collectible. It's the
Exactly.
one where the girl's in a hazmat suit. Of course, the hazmat suit's transparent. He has very clever ideas, and that's why I think Wendy brought him into the whole online Comic Con and thing, because he has really clever ideas. He's a really sharp guy.
Oh, it's
But here,
okay. He's not going to be in here right now. You don't have to compliment him right now. We can
yeah, I
talk
know
about
he's a
him if you want
friggin' banned again. Guy's banned every 5 minutes.
to. Oh,
I don't know what would possess him to think that poking hamsters is a good gift to use. It's poking hamsters. And Rob, why am I in trouble now with Rob?
oh, there's no telling. There
Rob's
is
a
no telling.
troublemaker. Rob's another troublemaker.
And see, this is why Joshua gets away with everything because Wendy just keeps saying he's amazing, and everybody knows that Wendy is Wendyful. So
Hmm.
she can do no wrong.
Yeah, she never says anything really bad about anybody.
No, no, not at all. We've tried. We've tried to get her to say stuff, and she won't do it. She
Hmm?
wouldn't
No,
say anything about CB or Tom whenever I
no,
had them on several
no.
shows.
She
Nothing.
won't tell dirt on anybody. No.
No. I got to try harder, I guess. I don't know what's going on. So the next thing that I want to kind of ask you is with your all the work that you've done and everything. Do you have a collaboration bucket list, like certain projects that you want to work on that you haven't, or certain people that you haven't worked with?
I think everybody does. I mean, oddly enough, I had done maybe three covers, and then the BDI cover came up, and this was before Carrie Ann was coloring my work. And in comments, I had said something to Sandru once on one of the BDI posts about how I loved Sandru's work, and that it would always be a dream of mine to have him color my work. And then Tom Hutchinson saw our commenting back and forth because Sandru's a wonderful, wonderful person. And he saw us commenting back and forth and being so nice to each other. And Tom said, well, I guess this is happening. So a bucket list for me would have been to have Sandru color my work. And guess what? He has. So
Very
there were bucket lists right at the beginning, like being on a BDI book and things like that. Just being on a comic book was a bucket list. So I do have outstanding bucket lists like everybody does. Lady Death, uh, Red Sonja, anything from Dynamite. Fathom. Here's the hysterical thing. I'm friends with Vince Hernandez. I'm
hmm
friends with Vince Hernandez. Do I have a Fathom cover? Not yet. So, but that's fine. I'm looking forward to those things. Because here's the thing, like, you could sweat it out and fight and claw and try and get a Lady Death cover or try and get a Fathom cover or something like that, right? I'm working with the best creators, the nicest people in comics right now, and I'm getting work. If there's a Lady Death cover in my future, I can wait for it. I'm patient. I'm ridiculously patient. I don't need that right now. What I need to do is draw covers for Lewis, who saves nearly dead kittens. That's what I want to do. I
hmm
want to draw covers for Luis Torres because he's an absolutely incredible person. I want to draw covers for Wendy because she's an absolute incredible person. I want to draw pictures for Tom, covers for Tom because I like the way that Tom runs BDI. I think he's amazing. So I'm working with amazing people every stinking day. I don't need the big name covers. They'll come, I'm sure. They're on my bucket list, of course, but I'm very patient about things like that. I'm working with the best people in comics. I don't feel like I'm missing out on something. A bucket list for me would be to create a great graphic novel, but I don't have the patience to do panels. So it's never actually going to happen, I think. But bucket list for me is to do an art book maybe next year, because people tell me I have to. I don't think I have enough work, but they say I have to, so I have to, kind of thing.
Enough work for how many pages are we talking about here? Because you've already got 100 covers, this year just about. So I think you're doing okay.
And the thing is, like, if I said to Wendy or Lewis or Jim or Chuck or something like that, hey, could I use the cover art that I did for your book in in an art book? They would all say yes, because I know if you use it for like if you do a cover for Dynamite or Lady Death, you don't get to use that for anything else.
Right.
So I'm sure the creators that I work with would have no problem putting that art into an art book. So yeah, I'm sure by next year I'll have it.
Now,
And I
Sean,
am a total ass kisser, Sean.
Sean, I will
All the
say, in
time.
that group of people that he was talking about, he never brought up about wanting to work with Sean and Chuck on Belial too.
I
He
didn't
never.
even know who the hell they were. I was on a show and there was a funny guy on there. It might have been unscripted, man. I
It
think it
was
was unscripted.
unscripted. Yes.
And there was a funny guy on there named Chuck. And I just liked the way I liked his attitude. I liked the way he talked and everything else like that. When he talked about his book, it sounded good to me. I love a redemption story. It's my favorite kind of story. So then I wanted that comic. I had no idea who Chuck was. I had no idea about Belial or anything. But when I got that comic, that's one of the few where when I got that comic and I read through it, I basically messaged him, "Oh, great comic. I need to do a cover for this book."
Yes.
That instantly became a bucket list because I thought the story was so good that I wanted my work to be somewhere a part of that story. So
Absolutely. And I'm just going to throw this out there: Belial 3 needs a DemoNation variation cover. I'm just telling you right now.
it's a no-brainer. It's in the freaking title of your show. How are they missing this?
Oh
How
yeah.
are they missing this? They're just
Well,
right over their heads.
they
Right.
didn't
You
have
know
enough
what it
time
is?
on this
It's
one.
these writers. These
Yeah.
writers, they get into their stories and blah blah blah. It's all filler pages for the cover. It's just stuff, pages. It's pieces of paper that hold the cover in place. It's nobody's reading.
Exactly. And Joshua says we need a Steph tripod, not Steph tripod, but a kitty tripod rescue drawing. Yes.
I am not giving anything away, but I've already taken care of that.
But you're not saying anything about that.
No, no, no,
No.
no. I wouldn't give that away. That wouldn't be fair to Lewis. That would be giving it away.
And that is true. Not all characters have the best boobs in comics, so sorry, my friend, you can't draw for everyone.
I can draw normal sized boobs. Just ask Wendy.
Don't
Here's
ask
the,
Wendy.
okay. Here's part of my origin story. I was drawing, and we had a show like 2 weeks ago on my live show where I found some old pieces of work that I had done that were completely different than what I do now, and they had a lot of fun buying them because I sold them for like $20 a piece because it's just old work from like 5 years ago or 6 years ago. I was drawing at one point, and that's kind of why Carrie said, "Why don't you just do this full time?" I was drawing at one point. There was a year on eBay where I sold something like 500 and some works. Now I was living a life and working a job, so you can imagine how fast I didn't keep that secret very well, Wendy. You can imagine how fast I was drawing to turn out 500 drawings in a year when I was also working about 55 hours in a professional career. As I drew faster and faster and faster, that's what created my style. My fans literally created my style because they bought my work so fast that I had to keep up with them. So it simplified my lines, it simplified my contouring and stuff. It also made it where, like, literally, you say you want something, like these cover requests that I get. I roughed out a Ron Zabala cover in like about 10 minutes. I just doodled it out. He said yes. He had it in an hour. There's not It's just the way my style is that it works. It works very well with speed, and speed is what created it. So yeah, can I draw other ways? Can I draw smaller boobs? Yes. Can I draw guys? Yes, I can draw guys.
Mhm.
So I can draw all those things. I just don't do them as often, so people don't ask me for them. I would love for somebody to ask me for something different. I mean, Russell asked me for the Zeno, whatever the thing is called. Yeah, that thing.
Titan. Yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
You just hit the consonants on your keyboard for like 5 minutes, and that spells it out. I'm not entirely sure it's a real word. Any real words in there. But so he asked me to do a guy. I could draw a guy. Yeah, I like doing that stuff. But you know what? People respond to my work the way it is, so I don't change it drastically. I did for the neon cover. I changed my style a bit for the neon cover because there was an obstacle with that, and I had to overcome it. So that's how I overcame it. And so, you know, I get jokes about drawing boobs and stuff like that. I like drawing them. I have fun drawing those little things. I had fun drawing those chibis that I sketched out that are going to Wendy. That's a whole new area of fun I hadn't done before. So
Definitely looking forward to that. And Rob says, Steph calls me whenever he's selling his work for 300, but never whenever it's $20 a pop.
you missed the show, man. It was the old work. It's so funny because, like every artist, I look back at my old work and I go, "Oh God, that's crap," you know, and I'm horrified by it. And I was saying that during the show, and Carrie's basically kicking me under the drafting table, going, "It's not crap," and I'm like, "Well, it looks like crap to me. I don't know." Here's the funny thing about me. Here's the secret, the big secret for Phil's show, the big secret reveal that I haven't revealed ever before. There are two sides to my personality. One side is a cocky bastard like you would not believe. And if I know how to do something and I've put the time into it, whether it's social media or art, if I know how to do something and I know I do it well. And that's it can be, you know, if you're not careful, that borders on arrogance. The thing is, somebody used to say, I'm not cocky, I'm convinced. When I convince myself I can do something, which is draw in the style I do, or if I convince myself that I can do social media, then I own it. I own it 150%, and I am cocky as hell about it. Like, I know that what I'm doing is good. I know that my interaction on social media is at the top of its game. The other side of me is the part that sits there going, "Holy crap, what dream world am I living in?" You know what I mean? Like I'm chatting with Bill McKay or I'm chatting with Nai in messages. I sit there like, oh, so all of a sudden I'm like, from cocky, Mr. Cocky on social media, all of a sudden I'm like, holy crap, this is my life. Like, when did my life become my dream and my dream my life, you know? So the thing is, I don't suffer from the anxiety that a lot of artists have. And I always feel for those that do. Yeah, right? I know people and I know art. That's all I know. And pizza, good pizza. Um, but that's the thing is, like, I always feel for the artists that have anxiety or have doubts or have block. I was joking about it with Chuck on his show the other night. There's no time for artist block. I get it. People do have those things. I'm lucky that I don't fall into those patterns. And that's just because of my personality, my dual personality. Like, I sit there and I am grateful to every single person who buys my work. And I want you know what the funny thing is? Nobody ever sends me a picture when they get it. And I don't care. You don't got to post it. You're not supposed to be my marketing department, but send me a picture in Messenger. You bought it. Show me a picture when you get it so I can see that you got it or something, you know? It's so funny because a lot of people don't do that. And I'm like, yeah, share it to me. Send me a picture of your freaking cat. I don't care. Like, this is an interaction process. If you're just buying art from me and then disappearing, that makes no sense to me. Like, we could be having a friendship. We could be talking about something else other than art, and that would be the fun part. So yeah, so I go from being cocky bastard to, oh my god, I'm living in a dream. I literally look at Carrie every other day and say, I cannot believe this is my life. And so I'm massively humbled and grateful. At the same time, I'm a cocky bastard. It's a good mix.
So if you want to send Steph some pictures of your stuff that you're getting in,
Yeah,
go ahead and order the
dude.
T-shirts and wear these and take pictures
That's
and
a hint. There's a sales pitch. Or send me a picture of your cat. I don't care.
or the cat wearing the shirt. Either
The
way, I
cat
mean,
is
I'm
good.
not
I like
picky.
cats. You can send me a picture of your dog, but I'm not really a dog person. They're too much trouble.
Now, Steph, we've had you up here for a little while tonight and everything, but I want to go ahead and ask you the projects that you've got going right now. Go ahead and plug those and let us know what you've got out there and what we need to jump on and get a hold of.
Like, I can keep track. Like, I even know. Um, and here's the thing. It's so funny because I promote every project I'm on, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, he promotes." Why wouldn't I? I don't know. I'm on the project. It's the same reason I back every project I'm on. Like, it's just funny because it's like, of course I back it. You put me on a cover. Why wouldn't I back your project? Like, I don't get these things, but I don't come from the art world or the comic world. Like, I don't get the competitiveness and things like that because I come from the business world. So I came from the business world and I came into this little group and I found a group of people who hung out at the corner of the hall and the teachers are always getting them in trouble. And those are the people I'm going to hang out with. And I don't follow the rules that I'm supposed to. So I promote projects all the time. So I don't know. Let's see. Right now, Changeling, Belial, Jim's project, Violet,
Yep.
Neon, which is Giovanni's project. I like to keep them separate. I know they're doing their Kickstarter together, but Giovanni's project is a separate project. You might like Giovanni's story and his horror book and not like Violet. So don't think of it just as a Violet Kickstarter. There's also a different story on there, and Giovanni's story is a very good story. Um, I think that's it actively right now. Wendy's going to want me to tell you that there's some super secret project coming up that everybody kind of already knows about, but
And that's what Mike's asking right now. Is there something big coming up from
that's the
Stef?
super secret project. Here's the clue about that super secret project. It's not going to be expensive. So don't think of it as being like a massively like art book or something like that that's going to be really expensive. It's going to be something everybody can get into without breaking the bank, you know, and get some cool stuff. And of course, it's going to be Wendy stretch goals. So there's just going to be piles and piles and piles of crap. Nice crap.
Definitely
Very
looking forward
pretty
to
crap.
that. And I imagine, and Wendy's in here right now, so I want to go ahead and throw this out there. Wendy, we are getting Stef in Artist Alley for your next online con in January, correct?
Oh, yeah, definitely. She couldn't keep me away. Not with security guards.
Plus, we got to have another gold certificate on there for whenever we add more people.
Oh, another gold card. Yep, exactly. Definitely. That's the fun thing about that. That can keep going on. Those gold membership cards and stuff like that. That's fun stuff. You get a discount at our Etsy store with that, don't you?
Yes, you do.
See that? People got to remember to use that.
With
Yeah,
the
exactly. You can buy a DemoNation T-shirt from our Etsy store. Use your gold membership card.
exactly. And Perry, thank you for being.
Perry, where you been, Perry? I haven't seen you for 4 days in comments. This is how ridiculous my life is. I know I haven't seen Perry in comments for a couple days. Why? It's just because all the shows that I tune into and stuff like that, like the Doghouse and stuff. I see him pop in, and I just realized I haven't seen Perry in a couple days.
Well, let me ask you, what is some advice that you've got for someone who is wanting to break into the business? What's the best advice you could possibly give them?
It's tough. There's a lot of advice you could probably give somebody. First of all, because and a lot of it is what I see on social media. I've said this before in different ways. Let me see if I can phrase it the best way. Um, the most important thing, if you're going to survive, and hey Thomas, what's up, Thomas? You missed out on that trick or treater sketch, man. You really should have grabbed it. Um, so the most important advice I can give for anybody getting into art is art cannot be the be all and end all of your existence, because it is a subjective thing, and people are going to like it and they're going to dislike it. And if somebody dislikes it and you get rejected and that ruins your day, you're not going to survive. You're absolutely not going to survive. Art is a part of your life. Your life should be happening. In other words, Carrie and I are having a wonderful artistic life right now going on. But Carrie and I have a wonderful life to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be an artist, build a life that doesn't involve the art directly, because it will consume you. And it will consume you in the worst possible way. So, because I have a life that I absolutely love, when my art does well, I'm excited. And when my art doesn't do well, which hasn't happened yet, probably never will, when my art doesn't do well, I'll be okay. And so I see these artists that struggle, and you can see them getting frustrated and everything else. If that is how you define your life with your art, you're going to go nuts. You're going to cut your ear off. You're going to do what Picasso did. You're going to do what all these crazy artists did. Like that is not a way to function. If you're going to survive in this industry, in this world, and you know what? Here's my other piece of advice. Just make friends in the comic industry. Don't try and sell yourself. If the only thing you post is a post about your art every 3 days, well, then don't be mad at the industry for not knowing who you are. The industry knows who you are because you talk to the fans of the industry. In other words, knowing that I haven't seen Perry in comments, and he might have been online, but I haven't seen him in comments for 3 days, is how I get covers. Because I know who Perry is, I know where he is, and I know that he's not on social media. I know that Mike and Trish are new to our group. If you make friends in comics, you'll get covers in comics. That's how it works. No matter how talented you are, if you're not making friends in this industry, they're not going to look for you forever.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more on all that as well. And Shawnee says it's all about the balance. You have to make time for your art in your life. You also need to make time for your life without art, which is
Mm-hmm.
exactly what you're saying on there.
Because there's two things I could be doing. I could be drawing a cover, or I could be chatting with Shawnee about when her parents came to stay with her. Both of them equally important to me. It is as important to me how Shawnee was dealing with that situation as much as it was about me getting a cover. Like, if that's not equal, then you're missing the part of the equation that art is. Because art is just something that brings people together. That's all. That's all it is. It's all it is when you boil it down to. No matter how pretty the picture is, if it's not bringing people together and making them communicate in some way, then why does it even exist?
Exactly. And Rob says Phil Steph needs to get covers because we as fans need to plug him everywhere. That is
And I
absolutely
love when these guys do that. They'll be like, oh, and they'll have it laid out on their bedspread from the 1990s. Really, guys, update your bedspread before you lay your comics out there and take a picture on it. Really? Like, I mean, Bed Bath & Beyond's right down the road. But anyway, or they'll post pictures about my cover that they backed it. Like, I'll post it, and Scott will say, oh, I totally backed that cover. Call it out when you do. I mean, I love to hear it. It's kind of like it's just really kind of nice, like a little gift.
exactly. And Rob, I could not agree more with this right here. This has to happen. Somebody needs to pick this up where we do a Firefly cover for something.
Okay, here's the other part of me that seems to baffle the comic industry. I don't read comics. I have no idea who Firefly is. I don't know. I watched Tom Hutchinson's Doghouse show, his Chaos show on Tuesdays,
Hmm.
because I love hearing about the history of comics, and nobody knows comics like Tom Hutchinson. At least not in my group. Maybe Jesse James. Jesse James and Tom are probably the only two people I know who know comics as much as they do. And I watch that while I'm drawing. Like, I turn it on and put it next to me while I'm drawing, because he brings up books I've never seen in my life. And no, you don't have to crop out the bedspread, just update it. Um, but he'll bring up comics I've never heard of in my life, and he'll talk about them. He knows about them. And that world is completely lost to me, because I was always interested in art and art books and like fantasy art and heavy metal graphic novels. But I wasn't interested in comics, and not for any reason. I just never got into them. So when you say Firefly, I go, who? I have no idea. Who's Firefly? Who's
TV
Fire?
show.
Huh?
TV show.
TV show? What
Yeah.
TV show? Who has time for TV?
It ran for one season, and then it hit the writers' strike, and oh yeah, they tore
Was
that
it a
one.
superhero show or something like that?
No, it's sci-fi, and it's a
Oh, I
very
love sci-fi. No, I missed it.
yeah, it's
I loved Eureka. I loved all of those shows.
like a steampunk sci-fi.
Oh, it sounds really cool. Yeah, no, I missed it. I don't watch TV. I don't get. Yeah, somebody sent me the series. Now, if it's on Sci-Fi, I could find it. Carrie will want to find it if she thinks it's interesting. Um, Carrie's the TV watcher. Like, she decides what we watch on TV. I don't get to choose. But I don't have time to watch TV, essentially. So, what's Brown Coat? What the hell are you people talking about?
you
This is
have
like
to watch.
World of Warcraft. I'm like Horde, Alliance, whatever. Same thing. One wears pretty clothes, the other one's monsters. I don't know.
Wendy's on it. She's got you covered. She's gonna fix you up on it.
Wendy, when do you have time to watch TV? That's what I want to know.
Now Tanya said, "Got your Eddie Van Halen memorial
I
cover." That's amazing.
love that cover.
Yes.
It is so a me drawing with the half shirt and everything. It's so 80s. And then Carrie with the color on that. The color on that girl is fantastic. And then, oh crap, I'm going to be watching Firefly. I'm not going to be watching Firefly. You know what? She's still in Crossing Jordan mode. We're not going to be seeing anything but Crossing Jordan for the next 3 months. She gets addicted to these old shows. She catches them on streaming, and then we watch it. We binge for the next 4 years on Crossing Jordan. No, but then she put that tan line in. Carrie put the tan line in. Holy frig, that took it over the top. It's little things like that that'll take art over the top. And Carrie gets that. She has that instinct. And she's just like, because the girl came out so tan, it was like, boom, tan line. I'm like, oh, friggin' nailed it. Under boob is good, but under boob with a tan line, totally over the top. That was a favorite cover of mine.
Well, Steph, we could keep you on here all
I
night,
know. I would talk all night.
but you've got, of course, another 20 or 30 covers that are probably due by the end of the week. You never
Got
know.
drawing to do. I did 2 today, but I'm not caught up.
Oh,
So
see,
it's
there
okay.
you go.
And
So,
by 2, I don't want anybody to think I just cranked these things out. It's 2 I had in rough. I just had to do the finish lines. So
so I want to thank you again for being on here. I know it's been too long since I've gotten you on here, but
thank you for having me.
I want to make sure
Thank,
the show was established before I got you on here.
thank you, Perry and Rob and Shawnee and Trish and Mike, 2 Mikes, if he's still here.
Mhm.
He always leaves my show to go to the local comic book shop trivia night or something. I don't know. And Perry, thank you for showing up. I'm sure there's a lot of other people. I can't see them.
Oh yeah, we've had a lot of people in here
And
tonight.
Shauna, no,
Like,
Tawna,
yeah, Tana is in here. Yep,
and Wendy.
yep,
And thank you for buying my cover, Tawna.
yep, absolutely. So, do you want to give us a last shout out on where we can find you so that they can go ahead and start following you? Because I know
You
not
have it.
everybody here, because everybody here is already doing it, but everybody who will be watching this later on.
So on Instagram, it's the Stef Wilson, because apparently that was better than Bad Carrie. I don't know why they made such a big deal about that. So on Instagram it's the Stef Wilson. On Twitter it's Stef Wilson. If you can't find me on Facebook, you need to upgrade your Facebook profile, because I love when people say, where can they find you on Facebook? If you haven't found me on Facebook, you're not on Facebook at this point, because I'm just all over it. And then as far as projects, if you follow my feed, I will carpet bomb my feed with the projects I'm on. That's just my rule of thumb. So if you need to find what projects I'm on, they're on my feed constantly. So,
Absolutely.
but yeah, Demon Phil Belial, how is that not happening?
We need to work on that. We already have Sean in here. I know Chuck was planning on being around, but he's probably on his ninth show or whatever for the past hour.
I can already see it with your graphics down here. Oops, over there.
Mhm.
I can see it with the lettering. I'm already getting ideas. It really
Oh,
should
there we
be a
go.
cover. It really should be a cover. Yeah, that's the funny thing. I'll see something. I'll be like, oh, that's got to be a cover.
Exactly. Exactly. Steph, again, thank you very much. I'm going to
Even a
drop.
special edition.
What's
A
that?
special edition, like an artist variant. We
Hmm.
should do an artist variant with Chuck. It's a possibility.
I might have an exclusive cover that I could do with Belial with your work.
Yeah, because with an artist variant, what you do is you do like 25 or 33, whatever the minimum. I tend to go towards 33.
Hmm.
Excuse me. And then it's an artist variant, and there's a printing cost or whatever, but it's only 33, so it's a limited number kind of thing. Yeah,
Exactly.
but no, this is a possibility. But Chuck has to be up for the idea, and obviously it has to wait till after the Kickstarter's over. Because that's my huge thing with original art and everything else. I don't want to take money away from the Kickstarter. So I don't sell my original art until after
Yep.
the Kickstarter's over, because I think you should put your money towards the Kickstarter. So same thing. If we're going to do an artist variant, we've got to wait till Belial ends before we can put it up there.
We've got the first claim out
We got
there.
the first claim. You know what? He can have one of whatever it is. So if there's 33 of them, Thomas Smith gets number 1. Because he claimed it. That's how
Yep.
those rules of the claim.
I'm surprised Rob didn't get that. Rob's he's
No.
Biden
He was
now.
Rob. No, I don't know what Rob was doing. Rob goes in and out of comments. I've noticed that. He's either very much in comments or just kind of partially in. I think he gets distracted, or he's playing video games or something.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, well, Steph, I'm gonna go ahead and drop you backstage and do my
Okay.
closing statements out here. I certainly appreciate
Bye,
it,
everybody.
and thank you for being out here.
Thank you, everybody. You're all awesome.
All right, amazing show tonight. We got to know Steph Wilson a little bit better and know the man behind the circles and learn more about that, and also learn about Carrie, which was very important to go ahead and learn about what she was bringing to the table as well, which is a ton of work that's on there. So I always have a closing statement. Tonight's not any different on that, and I usually try to base it on what I've learned, within the interview. And tonight I'm doing that as well, which is very simple. We've talked a lot about it on here. Family. So family being what I want to talk about in the closing statement here. If you want to come in and you want to be a part of something, Steph said it better than I could ever said it myself. It's a matter of how much you put into it is how much you get out of it. So if you want to be inside of this, if you want to be in this family, jump in. We've got open arms. We'll take anybody in here as long as you're willing to go ahead and be a part of the family and be with us and accept us for who we are and how we act. And some of us act very refined, like me. And then there are others like Joshua who, not so refined. Sorry, he's in band camp. I got to have fun with him. So, but the main point is it's a family and everybody takes care of everybody. So it's not just to promote, projects that are going on and everything. It's to be there just to check on people, you know, to reach out and say, hey, Rob, I haven't seen you in a couple of the shows. Are you doing okay? Hey, Trish, I heard that, you had a family member that was sick. How are they doing now? You got to get to know the people and start interacting. So you create the family scenario on there. It's not just something that you do just as a paper sentiment on there. You need to go ahead and follow through with what you're doing. So again, it's all about the family. So in closing on this, just keep in mind, one pebble in a pond, you get a ripple. You get enough pebbles and rocks thrown in that pond, get the waves of change. So until next time, Demon Phil, DemoNation, keep it indie, y'all.